everybody, it's Gina here from Gina Makes It. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am showing you how I source fine art in the public domain to use in my junk journal. So the first thing I do is go to Wikimedia Commons, and I just type that into the Google bar and I select the Wikimedia Commons results that comes up on the page, and I'm brought to this main page. Now, I am not a fine art aficionado, so I like to keep a folder on my phone with fine art that I collect from different Instagram accounts. And you can see that it's my way of sourcing images that I really like using the artist's name. So in a bunch of different accounts that I follow, I'm able to create sort of my own collection of art, and then once I have a lot of it collected, I just transfer it to my computer and then I start to do a Wikimedia Commons search. So for this one, I selected the artist's name on the picture that I took a screenshot of on Instagram, and I copied it into the search bar in Wikimedia Commons. Now, sometimes I'm unable to find that specific piece of art just because it's just not part of the Wikimedia Commons collection, but more often than not, I am able to find it. Now, for this particular one, of course, the first one that I try, I am not able to find that specific piece of art, which normally on Instagram, the person who runs these different fine art accounts, they do include the title of the painting. But for this one, I just wasn't able to find it. But because, of course, I liked the first one, it turned out that I liked so many others that I found inside of this Wikimedia Commons, I'm going to call it collection, because these are all of the paintings from the collection of this specific artist. So I'm just clicking on them to see how they look and if I like any of them. And you can see there are so many images to choose from, and these are all part of the public domain, which means that you're able to use it for free, but more so you're able to use it in a product if you want to sell it. Now, I'm not creating these videos to show people how to sell these images, because that's really not my interest. I'm really creating these videos to show people how they can create their own custom digitals and images to use in their own junk journals. Instead of spending money on other people's interpretation of digitals, you're able to source your own and really fine-tune what your junk journal looks like. So that was sort of what started me down this path, and that's what I'm sort of seeking to teach others through these digital technology videos. So you can see that I'm pulling up a lot of women in the home. That seems to be the type of art that I gravitate to. It's one of my very favorite, and I have found that it was a very popular subject matter in the late 19th century and very early 20th century. That subject matter seemed to dominate a lot of the fine artists around us. So I'm just scrolling through and I find this one winter scene that really calls to me, because we are really still in the heart of winter. Now, if you sort of follow along on social media, you might be convinced otherwise, because there's a lot of people out there who are trying to convince you that it's not winter anymore, when in fact it is. And so I have found myself continually looking at the calendar thinking, wait, it's only February. What am I doing? Because I was led to believe that it was later in the year than it actually was, because of these stories that these Instagram content creators are developing in order to make me feel like we're ahead when we're really not. So I have a whole blog post on this at ginamakеsit.com. If you're interested, it's under the seasonal living tab. So I kind of go into that. But that sort of plays into this because I'm still embracing winter. And so I want to use this picture in my junk journal, and I want to download the highest resolution. So I'm going to select the one that has the biggest numbers, and it happens to be the one with the original file. So when I click on that image, it opens up another window with that high resolution image, and I right click and I do a save as, and it gets downloaded to my folder on my computer. If I wanted a smaller image, I could select one of those other ones, but for this one, I really wanted a larger image. So I'm going to go back to my fine art folder that are just those screenshots of those images from those Instagram accounts that I follow till I find one that I know that I want to download to use in an upcoming journal page. So this one I found a while ago, and every time I see it, there's something about this image that reminds me of Peter Pan. It's called The Flight of the Swallows. So you get the idea that this family, this mother with her daughters, are kind of looking out the window to see a bunch of swallows flying over. Maybe you can identify with that feeling when usually around this time in winter, there's large flocks of geese that fly over at one time, at least where I live, the Canadian geese. Or as we kind of shift into that period between winter and spring, there's large flocks of birds that tend to fly over at once. And so that's sort of what I imagine when I see this picture. And it also reminds me of Peter Pan. I have no idea why, but there's just something so Peter Pan about it that I'm feeling like I want to read Peter Pan again. And I think it might be part of my March reading list because this picture I shouldn't say picture, this piece of art, which is what it is, just is so, I don't know, Peter Pan to me. So I'm going through and I'm trying to see what other paintings this artist has done that's in the Wikimedia Commons, and there are a lot. So I jot down this artist's name and I come back to this Flight of the Swallows and I click on more details, and once again I see what different levels of resolution. I'm always going to pick the largest one because that's going to give me the crispest image. And so I do a right click, a save as, and it gets downloaded into my download folder. Now, while there are many other images from this artist that I would love to download, I'm not going to do it right this instant because it's just going to get lost on my computer. And I find when I download the ones that I need, I use them right away, and then I write down the name of the artist, and then I go back and I look when I'm searching for new images. So this is another artist that I wanted to look up because I really liked this painting of this girl reading, but I couldn't really find it after I typed in the name from copying and pasting. But there were a lot of nice paintings in here that I thought I might want to revisit. I really liked this one, but I didn't have a use for it right at this time. So I just wrote it down in my commonplace notebook so I can go back and refer to this Wikimedia Commons collection later on when I'm looking for paintings like this. I also really liked this one too, these women in this workshop. I really liked that one a lot, but I just didn't have a use for it right now. So I decided to start searching for another painting that was in my little collection in my little folder here. So there was this one of this woman in her workshop that I really liked. She was a self-portrait of her painting, and you can see that her workshop is a mess. And so it reminded me of my craft room after I'm done working on a specific project. It's usually kind of a mess. And so I thought, I wonder if I can find this one here. And it came up right away after I copy and pasted her name in the search bar. So I am going to download this one as well because I did have some ideas of a journal page I wanted to do on my craft room and sort of my process. And I really thought it was a neat idea that this woman did a self-portrait of her painting in this type of environment. So I wanted to look her up and read a little bit more about her, especially since women weren't that prevalent as painters during this time. I just wanted to point out here that this does say that this work is part of the public domain, as most works are in Wikimedia Commons, but it's just always good practice if you do plan on selling these, which I'm not advocating that you do. But if you do, it's just always good practice to make sure that it is. So I downloaded this one as well, and I was just going to see what other images there are in this folder that I might be able to use right now. So I'm just clicking through, and I remembered I really liked this one a lot. I love profile paintings because of the ornate shirts, the ornate hairstyles. There's just something that I really, really love about these types of portraits. And I was able to find this one the same exact way by copying and pasting the artist's name in the search bar. And you can see there are a lot of paintings in this one. And there it is. So I click on it and I download it to my folder. Now I can see a lot of writing being done in Photoshop on the background of this, or this silhouette of this girl being used on top of, let's say, a vintage wallpaper or something like that to create a collaged type image. So I'm just showing you a different way that you can download this information. If you click the download link at the top, you're again prompted to pick your resolution, and it will download into that same folder that all of the rest are as well. So I just see a lot of possibilities with this particular lady, and I might use her in an upcoming Photoshop tutorial to show you how to pull out silhouettes and use them in different layouts. But for right now, I am just going to show you how I add text very quickly. This isn't meant to be a tutorial. It is just meant to show you the possibilities that Photoshop offers with a piece of fine art that you've downloaded for free in the public domain. So I am specifically focusing on this winter scene because I just love it so much, and it really speaks to me in my current phase of life, like almost to the minute. This is what it looks like outside of my window with one of my house plants. And I'm also gravitating towards this Robert Frost poem that reads, "The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued." And I just love the sentiment of this poem. A, because it highlights winter, and B, because this person's mood was reversed. This person was in a bad mood, but it became a good mood after being outside in winter. And I feel like we're always being told not to enjoy winter, but I feel like this poem is telling me just the opposite. And it just goes back to what I was saying earlier and kind of aligns with my blog post about not wanting to race ahead and trying to just live in the moment. So what I did here was I copied and pasted the poem onto the picture, and I added a rectangle box of a like color that I sampled from the background of the painting, and then I changed the opacity so you could still see through the box, but yet you could still see the text a little bit more on top of it. And now I'm just changing Robert Frost's name to a different font, and I'm going to do the same thing with the title of the poem too. So I add a new text layer and I type "dust of snow" as the title on top, and I'm just going to experiment with different fonts that I have in my library. Now, all of these fonts are free. They are free fonts that I find on the internet. There are a number of free font websites that I continually go to when I'm looking for a different font. And I have found that it's always nice to have a large collection because then you can kind of sample the text that you're working with and see which one just sort of feels right. So with the addition of the title, I felt like my rectangle needed to be a little bit larger. So I'm adjusting the size on that. I'm adjusting the size on the title to see if I want it bigger, how I want it to read. And these are the things that I'm going to show you exactly how to do in my Adobe Photoshop tutorials that I'm working on. And these are going to be step by step. So right now I'm just kind of going through it and I'm not really telling you what I'm doing, but in the tutorials I'm just going to walk you through step by step on a particular part of Photoshop, just like this. So one episode would be how to manipulate text in Photoshop. Another one would be how to create shapes and how to change the opacity of those shapes. So it's going to be a really drilled down tutorial on all the interworkings of Photoshop. So once I get this where I want it to be, I'm going to adjust the color of the painting itself, and I'm just going to use those already queued up commands that Photoshop gives me. And so I give it a little bit of an auto tone, an auto contrast, and an auto color just to see which ones I like the best. And this is all personal preference. I do like this a lot. It's very deep. I like the tone of it. Those seats on those chairs became almost like a jade versus a more yellow green. And so I really do like the way that looked. So once I'm done, I'm just going to save it as a JPEG or a PNG file, and then I'm going to pop it into Google Docs to print it and use in a journal layout. I'm not going to show the journaling process on these videos, I don't think, anymore. I've reopened my Patreon, and I'm just going to be posting those types of journaling videos there, along with any free downloads that I create in these videos. Like for instance, this right here, this download will be in Patreon as well. I used to have a Patreon a couple years ago, but I had to close it because I just had a lot going on in my life and I wasn't able to keep up with it. I'm going to keep all those posts up there and all those digital downloads up there as well in case you do join and you want to access them. But I do think for now I am going to just be adding some members only videos, some digital downloads, and then just some posts about what's going on around here in my life. And there's just going to be one tier. It's going to be a flat fee, and that way it just kind of makes it simple and straightforward for people looking to join. So here is the image in Google Docs, and here I am just starting to work on this journal page. And like I said, I'll add the link to Patreon in case you're interested in that down below. And otherwise, look for another video from me next Friday. Thank you so much for watching and for liking and subscribing and commenting. All of those things support my ability to continue creating videos on YouTube, and it allows my videos to be viewed by other people who might benefit from the knowledge that I have that I am trying to give to others. So thank you so much for that, and thank you to the people who hit the super thanks button. That is so kind and so thoughtful, and I'm so appreciative of that. I will see you next time.